What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. First things first, my opinion is an opinion from a complete stranger online, and you should always be responsible when betting in the markets. So, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. It's not too long now. And I've been looking at the odds and I come across Paddy Power. And when I'm on Paddy Power, I'm seeing, if I get up my Paddy Power, let's get this up here so I can make sure I got it right. So we have on the 8th of March, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Anthony Joshua is 5-1 favourite, and Francis Ngannou is 7-2 against. So Anthony Joshua is 5-1 for, and Francis Ngannou is 7-2 against. So Francis Ngannou is an underdog in this bout, as many would have imagined. Now, talking about this fight here, you need to look at a few things here, because when we are looking at the fact that when we're looking at the markets, House is right 95% of the time. House gets it right 95% of the time. However, there is that 5% on this side here that House gets it wrong. And when House gets it wrong, that is the lucrative opportunity for you to rob the bank. But you have to be very careful when penetrating the house. Now, when I'm looking at mispriced odds, I'm looking at Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. I'm seeing that Anthony Joshua is 5-1 on, and I'm seeing that Francis Ngannou is 7-2 against. And I'm thinking to myself, if I'm looking at finding value betting for the underdog, how am I going to go about it? And is there potential? You first need to identify, is there potential for an upset? You then need to look at where the value is, and you then need to look at the likely outcomes, and you need to weigh them all together and come up with your own portfolio. Now, Anthony Joshua has Olympic pedigree. Many would say that he looks novice-y in the ring. Sometimes I think he does. You know, to be honest with you, I think that now he's starting to look a lot more refined and polished. But that aside, all of that over there, Anthony Joshua, whatever you think, whatever your opinion is, Anthony Joshua has Olympic pedigree. He has amateur schooling. He is looking a lot more refined these days than he has looked in the past. He looks more now like a complete fighter. Now, Francis Ngannou, what amateur schooling does he have? He doesn't have any amateur schooling. When I looked at Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury, a fight that many thought Francis Ngannou won, I myself did not think that. Francis Ngannou looked very novice-y. You want to say Anthony Joshua can look novice-y at times? Go watch Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury if you want to watch a novice, who, by the way, was making his professional debut. Now, this makes me believe that Francis Ngannou is not winning this fight on points. Francis Ngannou is not winning this fight on points. And therefore, when I'm looking at this, making a portfolio here, when I'm looking at the markets and I'm looking at methods of victory, I have no reason to include Francis Ngannou by points of decision. Francis Ngannou, for me, I've watched some of his UFC bouts and I've watched him against Tyson Fury. There is only one way that Francis Ngannou is going to win this fight, and that is by knockout. Francis Ngannou can only win this fight by knockout, and he is a puncher, and he has a legitimate puncher's chance. Anthony Joshua is not the hardest opponent to find. I'm not saying he's defensively weak. I'm just saying he's not James Toney in his prime. He's not Floyd Mayweather in his prime. So Anthony Joshua at some point is going to be there to be hit. I'm not saying he's going to be there to be hit from round one all the way to the end of the bout. I'm saying at some point there's going to be an opportunity and a window for Francis Ngannou to connect on Anthony Joshua's chin. And Francis Ngannou is a puncher, people. So when I'm looking at what to include in my portfolio, I am looking at Francis Ngannou by KO. And Paddy Power has that at 4-1 against. Those are good odds. Though that is the only way he can win this fight. Now, when I look at Anthony Joshua, I'm looking at ways he can win this fight. Anthony Joshua can win this fight on points. Anthony Joshua can win this fight on points legitimately. If Francis Ngannou has the chin that people are talking about, Anthony Joshua can tattoo that guy by using ABC boxing fundamentals that Francis Ngannou does not have for the duration of the bout and win it comfortably on points or by late knockout. Anthony Joshua could also win the fight early knockout. So I'm saying Anthony Joshua can win the fight on points if Francis Ngannou's chin is as granite as they say. Or if his chin is not as granite as they say, if Francis Ngannou's chin is not as granite as they say, then he can win the fight by stoppage, Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua has two ways to win this fight, in my opinion, by knockout or points. Francis Ngannou has one way of winning this fight, people, and that's by knockout. So if I want to make this as simple as I can for myself and walk away with profit, I am going to simply put Anthony Joshua to win the fight outright. Anthony Joshua to win the fight. I'm not going to include knockout or points because I think that Anthony Joshua can win this fight in two ways and I don't want to lose money. So what I want to do, I want to make my bet as safe as possible. I'm just going to say Anthony Joshua to win the fight. So if he wins by points, I'm covered. If he wins by knockout, I'm covered. Now, Francis Ngannou can only win this fight one way. And he can only win this fight by knockout. So I'm going to go for Francis Ngannou to win this fight by knockout. I'm going to go for Anthony Joshua to win this fight. And I'm going to hedge the play with Francis Ngannou to win the fight by knockout. That's how I am going to build my portfolio. So if Anthony Joshua wins the fight, then I'm covered. Either way, no matter how he wins the fight. But if Francis Ngannou wins the fight by the only way that I think he can win it, then I'm also covered. That is how I'm going to hedge the play. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of what I've said in this video? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video, and I'll see you on the next video.